camera movement. It's important. I just want to show you the terminology and show you the effect of all the different things. It's super basic, but it's something that we all need to know. That way, when we talk to each other, we're all speaking the same language and we know exactly what we mean when we say one move versus another move, okay? So the basic moves are pan, tilt, jib, dolly, and track. So with this camera here, I'll show you a few of those moves. So the first move is your pan, and panning is just when the head stays in one place, but it moves left and right. So if you can see here, this is a pan, and we'll pan right. Very basic move, but when you're talking to someone, then you know exactly like, pan. All right, tilt is when the head stays stationary, it doesn't move in space, but it tilts up or down. So if we look here, we'll tilt up, and we'll tilt down, and back up. Sorry, I'm getting a little moves in there. Tilt down, and tilt up, and you get the idea. Now, the other moves are jib. So a jib is when the head itself moves up and down. So it's jibbing up and jibbing down. And so there's an example there. And then the next is dollying. So dollying typically means when you're dollying in and out. So what happens is the whole camera moves either dollying in or dollying out on the subject, right? So dollying in and dollying out. And then the other movement is tracking. So tracking is when the camera moves left to right. So it's like the whole camera is moving. So it's tracking left, tracking right and tracking left. And tracking right and tracking left. Now, another thing I want to mention is filmmakers, we speak in terms of screen. So screen and camera, and they're the same. It's from the perspective of the camera, from the perspective of the filmmaker. Whereas theater, it's the opposite. In theater, it's from the perspective of the performers. So when we say screen left, when we say screen left, it's on the left side of the screen. It's what we're seeing in the final image. And when we say screen right, same thing. It's on the right side of the screen. So just keep those in mind, and maybe some tips that I'd like to give on camera moves. Plan your camera moves. Make them mean something if you can. Just moving the camera for movement's sake, you're not doing yourself any favors. And you're not you may not be telling your story as well as you can. So if you can plan the camera moves and try and make them make as much sense as possible, I think that's the best. You know what? Let me add one more camera move in here. This battery's about, okay, let's do this. All right, so it's called rack, right? Rack focus. So basically, you rack focus, and all that means is that you start on one subject and you move on to the next, and you rack focus to the from one subject to the other. Now, that's when it's in camera, right? Or when it's in the shot. Because you won't always change focus during the shot, but sometimes you do want to change focus during the shot, and you'll do a rack focus from one subject to the other. And that's it. So if you have any questions, hit us up in the comments, and thank you. I'll see you guys later.